Isimulan na po natin yung interpolation. Magsimula po muna tayo sa minority. Congressman Franz Castro, you are now very, very recognized.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat, sa PCOO. Magandang hapon po. Alam po natin na yung PCOO, yung Presidential Communication Operations Office, at sila po ay naririto para depensahan, humingi ng budget sa kapulungang ito para sa susunod na taon. At natural lang, Mr. Chair, di ba, na bosasiin natin kung saan ginagastos ang budget, pinagkakagastusan, mga programa, lalong-lalo na po sa kanilang ahensya. At yung at syempre po, tayo pong mga kongresista, pangunahing katungkulan natin yan. So sa pasimula po ng budget hearing, meron po tayong mga kinwestiyon about yung mga COA report, yung 1.8 million. Tapos yung, syempre, ubusisiin natin in right time dahil alam naman po natin, Mr. Chair, ang PCOO ay parang spokesperson din ito ng NTF-ELCAC. So ano ba itong NTF-ELCAC at dapat na mabusisi din natin, Mr. Chair, dahil malaking budget ito eh. 16 billion para sa mga barangay daw. Mamimili ang NTF-ELCAC ng barangay kung ano, para sa burial, medical assistance. 20 million to per barangay, Mr. Chair. So in a right time. Pero Mr. Chair, alam naman natin itong kapulungan na ito ay siya yung siya rin yung nagbibigay ng pondo. Pero meron po tayo, may issue po tayo, Mr. Chair, dito dahil ang Makabayan Block, sa pangunguna po ni Yusek Badoy, kung nandiyan ba si Yusek Badoy, ay inaakusahan po ang Makabayan Block ng terorista. Alam naman natin, Mr. Chair, meron akong slide presentation, Mr. Chair. Pwede po bang maipakita ng ating technical group yung
yes po, ma'am. Pwede po, pero isama natin sa 3 minutes yan.
Tingnan lang na, opo, 3 minutes lang po. Na, ayan po, NTF-ELCAC, ayan po yung mga pangalan namin, ayan po yung mga mukha ng Makabayan Block, at inaakusahan kaming terorista, at nakalagay din sa post na high-ranking Communist Party, New People's Army, NDF, na pabagsakin ang demokrasya at tuluyang iano yung komunista. Walang kahihiyan. So, Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chairman,
po ba natin
Mr. Chairman,
sorry, Congresswoman. Yes, Kuya Jonathan Alvarado, you're now recognized.
Congresswoman Castro, nasaan po kayo dyan sa picture?
Ayan po, Mr. Chair, nasa bandang kaliwa po ng picture ni Yusek Badoy, Lorraine Badoy. Ayan, 6 po kami dyan, Mr. Chair.
Mas maganda ka pala sa personal, ma'am, kaysa sa picture.
Kaya pala masama ang loob nyo, ma'am, at yung picture na kinuha ay pangit.
Oo, medyo pangit na ang picture ko. Anyway, Mr. Chair, ito po ay isang Yusek, at kung hindi niya masasubstantiate yung mga sinabi niya dyan, gamit ang pondo ng ating gobyerno, gamit ang kanyang posisyon. Ito po ay threatened kami. Alam naman natin, pag tinagurian kang terorista, ni-red tag ka, kamatayan po ang threatened ang aming buhay. Talaga pong Mr. Chair. So, kailangan muna nating Mr. Chair, susunod na pagkakataon na siguro mapasagot at mag-under oath itong mga to, itong USEC na to para masagot ito. Kaya Mr. Chair, I'm moving to suspend the briefing of the budget of the PCOO.
I second the motion, Mr. Chair.
Is there any objection?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Congressman Alvarado.
ako po hindi nag-o-object pero pwede ba nating marinig muna yung sasabihin ni Secretary Andanar?
Before the Secretary gives his statement, Mr. Chair, I'm invoking my personal and collective right to also speak on the issue. Tayo po rito mga mambabatas, no? Andito kami sa Kongreso, ginagawa ang aming gawain. Meron hong digmaan sa ating bansa, may naglalaban ng pwersa, no? Kaya nga aktibo tayo noon sa usaping pangkapayapaan. Andyan yung New People's Army, andyan yung pwersa ng gobyerno sa Mindanao, andyan ang BIFF, at andyan pa yung ibang mga pwersa. Kaya may kanya-kanyang papel tayo rito sa Kongreso. Pero kung tahasan, sasabihin ng isang unelected factotum that we are terrorists here, and alam natin meron ng batas on terrorism, hindi ho namin tatanggapin yan. No? Ano ba ang pinagsasabi niya rito? Kami raw, sabi niya rito sa kanyang post, and hindi niya ito mapagkaila. Sila, matataas na kasapi ng Communist Party of the Philippines, gumagabay at nagbibigay ng tahasang direktiba. Can you imagine that, Mr. Chair? Kami daw ang nag-uutos sa mga NPA na gumawa ng mga opensiba nila. Isang malaking akusasyon yan. At tinatawag kaming terorista. She cannot deny that because in her post again, she said, in a comment, the point is, they are not activists, they are terrorists. There's a big difference, sabi niya. No? Kaya, kung ganun-ganun na lang po mag-aakusa itong isang unelected official na ito sa mga halal ng bayan at humihingi sila ng budget rito, then Mr. Chair, we cannot allow that. This is not only an affront to us, but I think this is an affront to the institution. No? At sinasabi niya rito na kami raw ay hindi mga tunay na mga mambabatas. We are elected by our people, Mr. Chair. No? We may differ on our positions and many issues, but all of us here are here in this Congress because we are elected by our constituencies. And this unelected factotum should respect that. No? And I take offense na gagamitin niya ang kanyang posisyon using government funds, no, to attack our person, no, and encourage the trolls to attack not only our person but even our family. Because I experienced that. Dahil sa mga posting na ginagawa niya sa kanyang Facebook account, at nabasa ko doon, may mga threats against our person. So I hope, Mr. Chair, no, that this committee will take decisive action on this. And we will in fact take serious consideration on the budget being proposed by this office, PCOO, kung ganun-ganun lang din na ginagamit yung budget na ito sa pang-aatake, red tagging, terrorist tagging. Ang pinaka-latest na namatay dahil natag siya as terrorist was Sara Alvarez of Bacolod. He is a church worker, she is a church worker, kasama ni Bishop Alminasa yan sa mga gawain. She was shot. Yung mukha niya nasa tarpaulin, ni red tag. And you cannot just say, Ms. Badoy, na walang implication at walang mangyayari doon sa nire-red tag ninyo. And you have to be responsible for your postings, no? Pasensya na, Mr. Chair, no? I'm not supposed to I'm supposed to ask questions about the budget of PCOO, the National Printing Office, PTB4, IBC 13, and several others, no? But itong araw-araw na ginagawa ni Badoy na terrorist tagging kami ay hindi katanggap-tanggap yan, Mr. Chair.
Thank
and
you,
I'm
Mr.
strongly seconding the motion of Representative Castro to suspend
Yes, there's a pending motion, no, pero bago natin bago natin pakinggan ng maiksing mensahe ni Secretary Martin, ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina sa budget briefing ng DOLE na ang COVID, akala ko ito na yung kalaban natin eh. Ito na yung kalaban natin na pinakamahirap na hindi natin nakikita. Pero meron pa pala tayong kalaban na mas matindi pa sa COVID. Ito yung tinatawag na politika. Titirahin yung ating presidente, titirahin yung ating vice president, titirahin yung mga congressman, titirahin yung mga executive. Hindi na po natapos ang politika kahit may COVID-19. Parang mas nananaig pa po ang pamumulitika kesa sa COVID-19. Nung unang dumating ang COVID-19, ang naisip ko baka katapusan ng mundo, ito na ang panahon para gumawa ng tama. Pero anong ginawa? Yung mga iba, naglagay ng larawan ang ating presidente nung humalik sa sahig ng isang nablas. 'Di ba? Ginawa ng dog food, ginawa siyang aso. So, yung pamumulitika, hindi na po natigil-tigil at nakaka-frustrate na po dahil hindi tayo magkaisa-isa bilang isang Pilipino kahit po may COVID-19. Ano po ba ang kailangan ibigay pa sa atin ng Diyos para magkaisa-isa tayo bilang iisang Pilipino? 'Di ba? Yun lang po yung aking frustrations lagi na COVID-19 na, politika pa rin, mamaya mababasa mo, fake news na naman. So hindi na natapos-tapos, mas nananaig to mga to kaysa sa COVID-19. Anyway, bigay ko muna yung kay Secretary Martin Andanar yung pagkakataon na to explain briefly lang po para makapag-decide kami sa motions ng aming mga kasama. Secretary Andanar, you are now recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and I 100% agree with you. Let me first greet our congressman and congresswoman friend from the Bayan Muna, Congressman Sarate and Congresswoman Franz Castro. Magandang hapon po at lahat po ng mga congressmen na nakikinig po sa atin ngayon. Mr. Chairman, I would like to categorically say, before I give the floor, if you will agree with me.
Secretary Martin, siguro kayo na lang muna magpaliwanag kasi we will decide on the motion pagkatapos nyo magpaliwanag lang.
Okay, Mr. Chairman. I would like to categorically say that the Presidential Communications Operations Office, and with all of its attached agencies, is not the spokesperson of the NTF-ELCAC, or for the President for that matter. The Presidential Communications Operations Office is a mere platform for the national government to use. The content does not come from the PCOO. It is the presidential spokesperson who creates the content. We merely distribute the content. The NTF-ELCAC, they have their own office. The NTF-ELCAC also creates their own content, but it is not distributed in the PCOO as a platform. As we have seen earlier, Mr. Chairman, on the graphic that was shown to us by our esteemed Congresswoman Franz Castro, it was a Facebook post of Undersecretary Badoy using her own Facebook page. It was not posted on the Presidential Communications Operations Office page, which has 2 million followers. It was not even posted on PTV, which has more than 2 million or 3 million followers, or the Philippine News Agency. That is my sentiment, Mr. Chairman. So whatever our esteemed Undersecretary Badoy, I mean, if she's given the right to answer, that is her own post on her page, and that is not to should not affect the rest of the Presidential Communications Operations Office budget, including the agency's budget, because these agencies, these monies is for the executive branch. This is for the PCOO to be able to disseminate information, especially now during the time of the pandemic. I cannot imagine not having any budget to help the national government, every Filipino, to disseminate the correct, the right information to avoid COVID-19. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, there is a pending motion duly seconded by Congressman Sarate. Any objection? Hearing none, briefing is suspended.
Kumikita ang tao na dapat may taxes tayong babayaran. Hindi na nakolekta ng gobyerno dahil hindi nga naka-register. For example, hindi ko lang i-mention yung pangalan. Marami siyang mga...
Konti pa. Sino-sino?
Marami siyang
itsura? Maliit ba?
Propaganda doon sa website niya. So, binabasa. And then, nagbabayad yun. Malaki ang kita nun. So, ang ibig kong sabihin is, hindi naman ito stopping you for freedom of expression, stopping you na ipahayag ang nasa loob ninyo. Ito ay kasi ako rin pinag-isipan ko rin maging media din kaya ako, magagawa din ako ng vlog. Pero anyway, ang gusto ko lang malaman dito is dapat hindi natin lahat ng gagawin natin sana is yung hindi makakaano sa ating government, no. Tutulungan din natin yung government kung sa ganon. Unang-una, pag may mga investigation, ma-locate ka agad kung sino itong tao na to. Pangalawa, ang government makukulikta yung dapat makulikta ng government. So marami tayong magagawa na tulong na pwede nating gawin para sa government natin. Anyway, kanina ko pa gustong itanong
Honor,
kay what's your position, Badoy?
Undersecretary po,
Undersecretary.
Your Honor. Yeah.
I'm still not forgot that what you did to me last election. I'm sure you remember that.
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
You do
Can you
remember
refresh
that?
your memory, or would you rather not rehash that?
Yes, she
Was
said
it
yes.
fake news,
Yes.
Senator?
Yeah, I still remember na nagpinicturean mo yung bahay ng tao ko, and then sabi mo, this is the house of the mistress of Manny Pacquiao, ganyan, and I'm a Christian, and like that, and a lot of things. But anyway, I forgive you, but I want you to say sorry in front of me.
Sir, Your Honor, may I please give the context to all of this?
Yes,
It was in reaction, Your Honor, to what you said, which was very hurting. As I am not lesbian, gay,
No,
bisexual.
no, I'm
It was
not.
because of your
We're not,
reaction.
I'm not talking LGBT here or anything. Your personal comment and you post it, ganyan. Ito ba ang Christian? Ito ba ang ano? Kasi ito yung house ng mistress niya. Pinicturan ko, may campaign car pa. Ito yung, pero hindi nga ako nakapunta pa doon Hindi pa ako nakapunta doon at bahay yun ng tao ko.
So, Ms. Badoy,
sabi
totoo,
ko nung
alam na
magtataho-
ba ninyo ngayon, klaro na hindi yun bahay ng kanyang mistress? Ma'am,
But may I please be allowed to give
dahil
the
wala
context?
naman daw siyang mistress.
Ito yung
daw.
Ma'am. Gusto ko lang basahin yung sinabi mo. Guess what I saw when I went on a run this morning in my village. Manny Pacquiao's campaign car in front of his mistress' house.
Your Honor, may I please explain myself before I give you an apology?
Go ahead.
Before I give you my
Go ahead,
proper
go ahead.
apology, Your Honor. What you said about the LGBT community hurting to it hurts me because people who are very close to my heart belong to that community, and when you call them masahol pa sa hayop,
You
that
know,
really hurts.
You know, I will tell you this, Badoy. I will tell you this. I have pamangkin. Bakla. I have tiyo bakla. Marami akong pamangkin na bakla. Marami akong mga trabahante na bakla. Ang dami kong mga trabahante na bakla. May trabahante ako na tumboy. Kung pupuntahan mo lang sa Jensan, ang dami kong mga bakla. Lagi kami naglalaro ng volleyball. Naglalaro ako ng volleyball. Lagi ko silang kasama, lagi ko silang kalaro. Yan yung totoo, naintindihan nila yung sinabi kasi yung vlog na yung pag-edit na yon nang nilabas yon, hindi pinalabas yung totoong explanation ko. Pinuto lang yung sinabi ko. Yun yung ano na yon, yung story
So
na yon.
let's just chalk it up to differences in opinion. Pero kasi doktor din po ako, so yung homosexuality matagal nang tinanggal sa Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. So that's also, besides being hurtful, it was also from the medical standpoint.
Ms. Badoy,
po.
so obviously may pinanghuhugutan kayo. Naiintindihan ko,
Yes.
syempre, ako man, kahit na nirerespeto ko siyang kasama dito sa Senado, hindi naman kami pareho sa pananaw.
Correct.
But naniniwala rin ako sa karapatan niya, sa paniniwala niya sa kanyang reliyon, yun ang kanyang opinion. Pero siguro balikan natin yung hinanaing din ng ating kasama dito. So,
Yung
alam ninyo ngayon, hindi totoo pala yung na
Sir,
sulat
Brad,
niyo.
can I continue po?
Yes, go ahead.
It's in line with what you were saying, Mr. Senator, about uh, yung pag-anonymous yung blog, di ba? Kahit na ano pwede mong sabihin. Gusto ko sanang sabihin na hindi po pwedeng gawan ng bata. The internet is very free. By its very nature, the nature of the beast. Bago ho siyang frontier.
Yes,
So para ang hindi niyo po pwedeng gawan ng batas yung kindness, yung compassion, yung decency, yung courage. So parang yung natutunan ko po in all these years sa blogging and being online is napakalaking bagay na maging compassionate ka at maging fair ka. Kaya which is why I think I owe you an apology because I did hurt you. And I'm very sorry, but and I hope you understand that it came from
No,
a
ma'am.
place
It's
that
not
was
just
very-
because you hurt him. The accuracy of your
Exactly.
narrative.
Well,
Okay,
that's
so,
also it.
yeah,
Your-
okay. Please make it clear because, we're hurt a lot of times, but sometimes the truth hurts. But in the case, it hurts even more if it's untrue. So just clarify for the record, ma'am.
Madam Chair, I've been on the receiving end of a lot of lies and inaccuracies. So I do know finally how it feels like.
Oh, how did you come? By the way, there's no refuting, ma'am. You're following your intelligence and being able to write these narratives. But can you tell me how were you able to come up with that assumption that that particular structure belongs to the mistress of?
Because it's a village where the
So-
magtataho and
So that
are
was
my-
your source.
and the guards and that sort.
But now you true. So
Which is why I apologize.
okay.
Having been on the receiving end of it, of a lot of lies as well, by anonymous blogs, I do know how it feels now. And I guess this is what this whole internet thing is asking from all of us, to be a bit more compassionate and decent. Attorney JJ is not here anymore, but he was saying the nobility of anonymous blogs by history. But right now, what we see are anonymous blogs with a hidden agenda.
So you know,
There's that as well. I'm
So-
sorry, did I make my apology
Yeah.
as clear as I can, Mr. Senator?
So Ms. Badoy, isa ka rin na that's a fake news. What you did is a fake news. Kasi pinost mo sa account mo, and then ganito, this is tas marami pa yung nakalagay doon, and then it's hurt, but
Did you correct it, ma'am? Sorry, Senator Pacquiao. Were you able to correct it in your blog? That no, it's not accurate. You
No, I
haven't.
never did.
Okay. Well, anyway, so let this. Hopefully, you can do it, but maybe
That was,
that's
I
old
think, 3 years
news.
ago.
excuse me?
That
That
was 2 years or 3 years ago.
2 years ago, during
2 years
election,
Sir, Mr. Senator, I think there is a lesson here po that we live in a world that's getting closer to each other, and that if you say something that's hurtful, that hurt will be there is a chance that that hurt will be brought back to your home, to your doorstep. So there's that when we
What's hurt? What hurt? Do you understand the do you know the real message, the exact message that I'm talking about in that news? Hindi mo kasi kasi yun lang nakikita mo eh.
No, sir, I listened to the whole tape. I'm not Christian, by the way, so we do
Madam
not
Chair,
share the
if I
same
may, I'm
beliefs,
sorry,
no?
Madam Chair. Is the distinguished Undersecretary justifying what she did after she apologized? I'm just confused, Madam Chair. Is she justifying what she did? If that's the case, then I don't think it's an apology.
No. I see some remorse. I mean, I'm a woman. I see that you've made a mistake. On the other hand, I think that it's important also to be very clear that it's a mistake. If there's been an apology, maybe that's the best way you can express it. It's not justified. I mean, all the other conditions, for example, the magtataho or whoever else, I think that, I guess we go back, since you're already quite prominent, you already have a following, you're out in the open, it's not a bad thing to be able to follow on your own an ethical standard, especially Secretary, you're now Undersecretary Andanar. So, yeah, you're right. It's a lesson learned, moving forward. We do not condone such a thing, and certainly, I think that we don't want to use the Senate as a forum for our own vendetta.
In fact,
But it is just an example that we know. That's why I gave the floor to Senator
thank you,
Pacquiao.
Madam Chair. In fact, I want to file a case on that issue, but
As a Christian.
as a Christian, being a Christian is not. We have the authority, which is the government. Even if I forgive you, but there's a authority, which means the government. Na lahat ng tao, lahat ay tumunod sa batas. Anybody or somebody will disobey the government, the authority, kailangan maparusahan. Pero alam niyo, hindi na ako nag-action because somebody talk to me ganyan, talk to me somebody somebody talk to me about you. So hindi ko na pinag-isipan kung mabuti, and then now nakaharap na kita, gusto kong marinig sa bibig mo na sabihin mo sa akin, at saka ma-feel ko yan kung if you really sincere to your apology. Are you sincere to your apology?
Your Honor, when I hurt people's feelings, I am very sincere about my apology.
Thank you. I accept that. Being a Christian, we practice being a Christian because that's a world. But let's continue to question.
May I say something, though?
Na-post tayo dyan, nahinto
Okay,
tayo
then
dyan.
I would like to go to Mr. Paulo Romero, who is actually the dual role now. He has to cover also this. I would like to hear his inputs before he has to leave at 1. Okay, please, ma'am. Quickly.
As I was saying earlier, this is a world that's getting closer we're getting closer to each other. And I only say this not as a way of excusing myself. The apology was very real, but this is one of those things that I've thought of, having been on both ends, that we do affect each other very much. So when you put hate out there, you will expect at least to have, you'd better be ready for that hate to come back. So I've been trying my best, as honest as I can tell you, to take that hate out of my posts. I stick to the issues, and that's it.
Thank you. That's very reassuring, and especially that you are under the PCOO and you have a following. You can start this trend. I mean, it just takes somebody who would come up with this idea, then everybody will think, oh, maybe that's a fad now. It starts out as a fad, and later on it becomes a habit.
Which
But-
I think is an answer to your
Yes.
to this whole thing, your Honor, your Madam Chair, that there is no answer. There is no remedy to this. The internet by itself is the nature of the beast, to be as free as it is.
Right.
So I think that the answer to this is that we really police ourselves. We go back to ourselves, and
Correct.
that's it. That's
I believe that.
that's the
I've
best that I
always
quit,
stated
because
that. I'd add, even when I was MTRCB chair, that we need self-regulation, because we cannot possibly put a government agent in every household to monitor what children are watching. So we just have to remind, self-regulate. Parents, check what your kids are reading. Bloggers, I appeal to your moral standard to be able to police yourself. But are you related to Gang Badoy also? Okay, another talented researcher and writer who's also been harassed, whose Facebook page has been shut. Anyway, to give way to one...
May I just one point, Madam Chair. First of all, I'd like to say this. We appreciate your statements, Yusek, because it's about time that when we see that it's something wrong, we would have the guts to say that we were wrong and we are sorry and we apologize. And we are Christians and we know how to forgive. We know how to forget. And just to put also on record that we are also living perhaps in a more transparent world wherein we're being bashed every single day. We are used to being the punching bag of a lot of bloggers every single day. And it's up to us whether or not we'll be affected or... But the good thing about what you did today is that we know that some bloggers are actually accountable for their work. Unfortunately, the gray area comes in when we say we can do and say anything we want because there's no law that prohibits us from doing it. We are accountable only to our followers. What if, I mean, if something happens, like the same example that we were talking about, the damage has been done to Senator Manny. What if Senator Manny didn't win the last election because of that? I mean, there are so many countries right now na na-elect yung mga leaders nila because of false news, fake news. And we say, yeah, because we're only accountable to our followers. So, nandun eh. Kanina po, habang nagdi-discuss, si Madam Chair, nabanggit yung, for example, if you are a government official and you are a blogger at the same time, paano mo bang babalansin yun? I don't know the answer eh. Please help us. I don't know the answer. How do you balance it? When there comes a time na it's so crystal clear that this fake news is being state-sponsored, parang mahirap naman po yata ang tanggapin yun.
Sa tingin mo, state-sponsored ngayon?
No, what I'm saying is, if that is the case.
If that's the case, okay.
So, what do? And we say, no, because it's blogging and it's not real news. So, where's the accountability there? And then, pag sinita mo, it's freedom of expression. I'm sure, when you talk about freedom of expression, hindi absolute ito. May accountability. I think that's the essence of this hearing. What we wanted to see here is what solutions ang pwede nating makuha from this hearing.
Yun nga eh, parang we're trying to contain an ocean eh. Which is quite difficult, so we have to pick. But Senator Pacquiao has just a short manifestation before we move on.
Anyway, I accept, Ms. Badoy, I accept your sorry. Who am I to put grievance against you? I mean, but I want you to correct that blog in your account na kasi nandiyan pa rin siya kapag i-google mo, nandoon pa rin sa blog mo eh. Nandoon pa rin siya yung blog mo nung 2 years ago. Nandoon pa rin yung blog. Can you correct that and or i-resign mo o tanggalin mo?
Nagalit na raw si Miss Pacquiao, si Jinky. Can you take it out, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Thank you. I'm not, hindi ako galit sa'yo. Okay lang. I forgive you.
Fan niyo ho ako.
Thank you.